What a beautiful afternoon to broadcast from the mountain at Hardin-Robertson Field as we get set for game time. The 2020 Gatlinburg All-American Bowl for 8-man football set to take place here in Sevierville, Tennessee. Originally going to be in Gatlinburg, but they moved it for social distancing purposes here to Sever County High School, the home of the Smoky Bears, and welcome for the first time this year to a socially distanced press box. I'm Spencer Thompson, and you can see alongside there through that cubby hole, there's Zachary Lone. He's waving a little bit. There he is. And the rest of the broadcast crew with Jack Helwig. You can hear James Shannon giving the PA introductions right now, and really special to end the year in this fashion, especially with it being some of these seniors' last games of their high school football careers. It's an honor to be on call for this one. And the big storylines, of course, the coaches that are leading both of these teams. Tim Smith from Evangel Christian School Lightning alongside Roland Bell, in the head coach of the Southern Prep Academy. They host Team Stripes, who looks like they've got a lot of teammates that are going to be heavy on the rush side, and it's going to be difficult to contain them for that Stars defense led by Isaiah Austin and Alan Gleaton of the Pack Panthers. Austin, of course, the youngest head coach to be selected to the All-American Games, and it's just looking like something especially amazing to look at, as you can see from a shot here of the field. Maybe we could get a shot of the mountains from Hardin-Robertson Field as they announce all the players here for the All-American Game, and just a beautiful sight here from Sevierville. Coach, so the way they have this All-American Game set up, of course, the last few years it's been started back in early 2019. There was another All-American Game in early 2020. We're there for both of those, but now the Rocky Top Sports World took it over after all the situation and drama that happened with the previous coordinating group, and with them taking it over, schools and the voters on the membership committees voted for this game to occur in December instead of January. So moving it, that's why there's two All-American Games in the year of 2020. But interesting that both of these All-American Games have happened before and after coronavirus. Both of them have gone through that situation. And the way they set it up this year with it occurring in December, they also they had a committee of various representatives from across the 8-man football landscape, and the same for 11-man football. James Shannon being a representative of the media on the committee, and two coaches, at least from the primary conference 8-man extreme covers and the TSIAA. The nominations were open, and anybody could submit their nominations in, and the committee voted on those for who was selected the All-American Game. They did change it as well to be seniors and juniors only, with a case-by-case basis for any sophomores to play in this morning's game. And the selections have been definitely of players deserving to come out to Gatlinburg and participate in one final game for their high school football season in 2020. And to think that we're able to get to this point with everything that's happened on the year, that's ultimately what it's come down to. Is it's a blessing to have it here. As I bring in Zachary Lone, who is getting a little bit more of an earful from James than he would like right now, but we were talking about this pregame, Zachary, and that Team Stripes, there's a lot of rush-heavy players who have put up incredible stats throughout the year. I mean, you guys have guys like Jet Lodge and Emmanuel Dang. You've got other rushers on the offensive side of the ball, including Daniel Viles to some extent from Evangel, and Braxton Coleman from Ezel Harding. So the big question for Isaiah Austin as the defensive coordinator, how is he going to contain the rushing game of those players when they've been so incredible on their various runs?
Well, they're going to try and generate pressure. They did a really good job yesterday at practice when they did the defense scrimmage against the offense. The pressure was there the whole time for the Stars. But like you said, when you have a quarterback like Austin Gay, and you have Jet Lodge and Emmanuel Dang on the outsides, and you have Bishop Spackman or Nicarius Dowdle or James Austin in the backfield, there's just so many weapons on the Stripes roster that's going to be tough to really contain them today.
One of the other sides of it as well, we've seen various warm-ups from Team Stars' offense. Have got several great weapons on the passing side. Of course, you have Micah Taylor, the junior quarterback from Russell Christian, who won their state championship. Also warming up in practices yesterday with. They also had warming up in practices earlier with Matthew Corley from the Tennessee Heat. So they have different options at the quarterback position on offense, because they're gonna need a good offensive game to try and have a good contest here today.
And really, what they're going to lean on is they're going to be a pass-heavy offense. We saw that yesterday in practice and the day before. They really relied on Micah Taylor and Matthew Corley. They developed route trees, such as they did a lot of drags, which was able to get Eli Cornett and get Jed Mangrum open, and then had Goolsby go over the top for more of a post route. So that really is going to put pressure on the Stripes defense, and this is going to really be an air and out game for both sides, as they have really relied on the pass game so far, what we saw in both of the practices.
Put all the practices aside, all the pomp and circumstance and everything. There is a game that has to happen here, but you put the strategies aside. Who's the offensive, the better defensive strength, and all of that. It's an honor to be selected to the All-American game, and all these players know it. And although they're not in the same uniforms as their teammates they had earlier in the year, it's the camaraderie that has been shown between all of these players throughout the 2020 just the warm-ups and the practices and everything, to see the camaraderie of these guys coming together to just bond and connect with players that they wouldn't otherwise connect with. It's been something special to witness through practices, and we're about to see that chemistry come to life in this afternoon's game.
Definitely. As you can really see both teams really gel as soon as they got together. This joking around, especially yesterday in the combine, you really saw both of the 8-men as they're about to pray, actually. So.
certainly one of the coldest games we've ever done. Only, of course, topped by the All-American game earlier this year. 29 degrees, sunny, no wind throughout the rest of the day. Light chances of rain in the evening, but more than likely not to affect the All-American games today for 8-man and 11-man. As we prepare to get underway here in Sevierville, Tennessee at Hardin-Robertson Field as captains meet with officials at the center and getting closer and closer to game time here. As you can see at the top there is Coach Gleaton and Coach Austin meeting with Coach Tim Smith and Coach Roland Bell. All four of these coaches have interacted with each other in some capacity prior to coming up to today's game. I know that Coach Bell and Smith have interacted. There's, of course, the interesting portion. So the way that the coaching staffs were selected, they were invited based on part of their performance throughout the year, but also availability of the coaches. But they have an offensive and defensive coach for each of the teams, and each of the coaches got to bring on two of their assistant coaches to help them coordinate on their side of the ball. So Coach Smith brought his offensive coordinator from Evangel and Hagen Joyner, and he was going to bring one of his other assistants but couldn't make it, so brought up Hunter Wilson, the coach he faced off against in the national championship just about a month ago. And when we talked to them about it, that decision was made in Florida. We heard about it with Coach Wilson telling us, and it was definitely one of those choices that you could tell Coach Wilson was excited to work alongside Tim Smith instead of coaching against him. And as for Coach Gleaton, as for Coach Bell, he brought his assistants Matthew Kelly and Jacob Naratsky. And for the Stars, Gleaton and Austin brought his assistants throughout the season in Cole Warren and Josh Austin, and Gleaton brought his coaching staff in James Duke and Chris Gay. So definitely already chemistry with the coaching staff in that regard, and they got to know each other over the last several days and got to know each other through earlier in the year.
Alabama, where you at?
And
Tennessee, where
not
you
sure
at?
how much of a shot we can get of the crowd here, but a decent turnout, socially distanced turnout here in Gatlinburg for the All-American Games. And you can see on the other side, there's some fans there. A lot of them are down here at the center side.
Boomer Sooner.
And about ready to get underway here in Gatlinburg.
And both of the kickers for today's game, yesterday when we were watching them warm up and we saw them at the combine, they have some range. They can kick about a 45 yard field goal from what we saw. So that also plays into the decision making and why it's so fun being at All-American games. Because you're getting the best of the best in every skill position and every position.
So Neil McClure from the Pack Panthers is going to kick off for the Stars, who are the designated home team. The Stripes will receive, and they don't have one lone person deep back to receive. They got Jet Lodge back there alongside Nicarius Dowell from Southern Prep. So the senior in Neil McClure will kick off here for Team Stars. And with the kick of the ball, we're underway in this 8-man game as Nicarius Dowell is going to take the return. Staying on his feet to about the 39-yard line is where he will be stopped by defense. And we start out with the Stripes on offense. And so now about the 39-yard line. So let's see what this offense can do, led by Connor Rourke, the senior from Palmetto Christian Academy. gets to play alongside his brother in Carson, both of them seniors, and see what they could do on offense to start out this All-American game. As from the 39-yard line, it's a toss right side, and the catch is made. The brotherly connection there from Connor to Carson.
And right there, you really saw the advantage of playing with your teammate, and especially your brother. Right there, they ran an out route about 10, 15 yards down the field, and right as soon as the cut was made, the throw was right where he needed to be.
Gets it across midfield to the 47. It's now a 1st and 10 here for the Stripes. As they get in motion as Rourke airs it out to the right as he takes a hit. Jet Lodge, the intended receiver. It's incomplete. Broken up by Joshua Butler from the Freedom Cowboys. And the defensive pressure there from Carter Sutton brought down Rourke in the backfield.
And Sutton getting the pressure there really didn't allow Connor Rourke to step up into the pocket and make the throw to Jet Lodge. So the throw was a little behind Lodge for that reason. So the pressure by Sutton really affected the play there.
Sutton's pressure, he took a hit there as he hands it off to Dowdle. Kickoff returning man gets stopped. That defense in, there's Keontae Jameson from North River Christian, among several others, stops there for a 3rd down.
And that was something that they worked on defense yesterday, was getting to the outside and forcing athletes like Dowdle and Jet Lodge to run out of room. So they forced them to the sidelines, and then there's 3 Stripes players there, Stars players there to bring them down.
So now a 3rd down and 9. As Rourke is going to give it over to Jet Lodge. He's got wide open space on the left. Get Jet Lodge, get free. He's got one man to beat. Stiff arms there. Another tackle avoided and finally brought down at about the 22-yard line. And a huge gain there for the Stripes as Jet Lodge doing what he does very well here in this All-Star game.
As that was just a simple reverse play as the hand off the Lodge. But when you get Jet Lodge into space, they do a great job of he does a great job of making men miss, because there were 3 tacklers there that he broke loose and broke the tackles before he was able to be brought down.
So now just outside the red zone, the Stripes team charges on as Rourke is going to keep it, tries to find an opening. He's got the outside and a touchdown. Team Stripes gets on the board.
And right there, he rolled to the right, and Jet Lodge does a great job there of blocking the linebacker. And it really, as you're going to see right at the bottom of the screen, right there, does a great and allows for Connor Rourke to have that open space, and Rourke could have just walked in the end zone there.
Almost essentially walked in the end zone there, but Connor Rourke, the senior, gets it done, and first points on the board go to the Stripes. And James's favorite thing to see in 8-man football, it's the field goal attempt. This one will be held by Jackson Smith, and will be kicked up and perfectly through the uprights as David Britt from Christ Church Academy nails it. So now 7-0, and you know, we're about a first for everything, so it's your time to see your first commercial.
to win a free getaway at Gatlinburg.com.
Seven zero the score right now with 12:38 left to go in the first. They're doing 15-minute quarters here in this All-American game. Give their seniors and each of the players plenty of time to participate. As Britt kicks this off, and it'll bounce back, and first return will be by 26 of the Stars. Eli Cornett, the senior from Franklin Classical, gets tripped up by several stripes, and they'll start out their offensive drive at the 16-yard line.
And what you're going to see out of this Stars offense is they really play they spread it out, no one in the backfield, and then what they do is they put sorry, can't find his name. Oh, they'll put Goolsby at the top of your screen, and then they'll put him on a streak, and then they have a little underneath drag.
And a toss across the middle is incomplete. Matthew Corley under pressure had a man in coverage that he tossed to across the middle, and it's an incomplete for a second down.
Corley didn't have any. If he had another second, he actually had his man, but the pressure in his face made him throw it before he wanted to. So that's why it was behind his receiver. The Stars really didn't practice many run plays throughout the week, so really look for them just to spread it out the whole game, as they have right now, as they have Destin Leah in the back field.
And they're going to spread out again as they have two on the far side, but in motion it's going to be a carry as Corley takes it up the middle for a gain of 2 yards, and Corley brings it up to a 3rd down and 8.
And right there, that was a quarterback option where he could hand it off to the jet sweep coming around, but he kept it, and then wasn't able to make that first man miss, and he only got 2 yards out of it.
So now on a 3rd down and 8, Stars try to answer to Stripes' opening drive touchdown as Corley airs it out. He's got a man available, and it's an interception. And that was intended for Brody Foster. And the interception made there by Emmanuel Dang from South Haven.
Right there, on the replay, you're going to see Grant Gleaden actually beat his man there. But Corley decided to go to Foster, and it was a little bit behind the receiver, which led to the interception.
So a correction on that. It's actually Josiah Mitchell, the senior from Lighthouse Homeschool. So the Stripes still get that interception there as tried to get it over to Foster in coverage, and Stripes will still have offense again. They give it over, this one to Bishop Spackman from Ezekiel. Gets a gain of about 8 yards there, 2 yards shy of the first down marker.
And the way Spackman runs, Spackman is a big physical running back. So in the cold weather, he really thrives. So maybe look for them to hand it off to him a lot today.
So the more the temperature drops, the better he does.
Yes.
29 degrees. Maybe it needs to get a little colder. As a carry here for Drew King from Unity Christian School goes to get the first down, gets to do about the 36-yard line.
And this came from the it's going to be a holding because it came from right at the line of scrimmage there for the jet sweep.
And with a holding call, they'll bring it back to the 50-yard line. So instead of a 1st and 10, it's a 2nd and 20. Second and 20. Carry up the middle by Corley. Gets past the 40. Excuse me, not Corley. Austin Gay from Ezekiel Academy. A touchdown as the senior state champion gets 6.
So what they did there is they faked that jet sweep, and the whole defense pursued the sweep, and Gay just kept it. And his speed in the open field, he outran everyone.
You know, Austin Gay has been incredible throughout the season. Of course, this being his final game of his high school career, we saw it in the national championship when they collided with the Evangel Christian School Lightning, and just shows again why he's a runner-up for the national championship. Tried to lead his team to that title over Evangel, but now another extra point attempt here from David Britt. And this will go through the uprights. Another perfect extra point.
Britt is good. Your score, Team Stripes, 14.
So now make that a 14-0 point game with 10:25 left to go in first quarter. $50-yard rushing touchdown for Austin Gay to put his team up 13-0, and then the extra point nailed by David Britt as he gets a squib kick here to start it off at about the 30-yard line as Keontae Jameson gets it to the 36. And we'll see if Team Stars has a response here as they're down 14 right now.
Kickoff return to the 36. By number 58 from North River Christian, Keontae Jameson.
Another important factor in the selection of the All-Americans is that for the most part they stuck players together from the same team. There were maybe one or two players that had to get switched to the other team just because of balancing purposes, as this one is going to be taken by Frank Fox from Dominion Christian School, and he's brought down by Alex Valbuena and company.
Ball carried by number 29.
And right now, the defensive front from the Stripes is doing a great job of disrupting the plays, as we saw in the interception and the very first play of the game for the very first offensive play for the Stars. They're getting to the quarterback right now, and they're forcing mistakes.
Alex Valbuena still hyped about that one. Of course, Valbuena, a junior for Ezel Harding, 2021 will be his senior year, and big reason why Ezel Harding was the number 2 seed in the South. As it's fumbled in the backfield, the ball's still loose, and did Valbuena get to it? Maybe not. Waiting for an official ruling as Valbuena still fights with it, and it's rolled third down. Good awareness by Frank Fox to get it back.
Well, Valbuena actually came away with it, but Fox was already on it, and he already was already down. But Valbuena is already bringing intensity to the game for the Stripes.
Yeah, Valbuena building more momentum off of that trip up in the backfield, as the Stripes defense is coordinated by Roland Bell and his assistant coaches. So far, so good. Shutout with Just over 8 left to go in the first. As Fox looks for something. Toss. The catch is made. Tripped up at the 30-yard line is Jed Mangrum, the junior from Franklin Classical. Gets tripped up at the 30 and a loss of about 6. Actually, what would have been a loss of 6 had it been a 3rd and 10, but gain of a few yards to the 30-yard line. So now 4th and 15, we'll see our first punt of the game. And back deep to punt here is trying to get it, trying to see his number here from the box. It's Matthew Strutko, the junior from Cambridge Academy. Deep back to punt, and Manuel Dang deep back to receive for Stripes.
In warm-up, Strutko was punting for about 40, 50 yards with ease. So look for this one to maybe bounce down inside the 40.
Well, bounced on the other side of the 50, not quite into the 40. They'll spot it at the 42-yard line. And of course, you're not going to see a whole lot of rushing towards the punt or on the field goals. You're not going to see anyone necessarily trying to block the field goals or things like that, because with it being an all-star game, they're not trying to. It's not a playoff situation for them. We've seen some good sacks thus far, but on special teams, you're not going to see too much pressure just because of the chance of injuring one of their fellow All-Americans, as the Stripes try to go up by 3 scores with 3 to the far side. And with motion here, it's a quick toss over, and Jet Lodge is going to toss it across the middle, wide open. All the way to the end zone is James Austin, the junior from Palmetto Christian Academy at Greenwood, gets the touchdown.
What a great play call right there, as Jet Lodge runs backwards at the snap, and Connor Rourke tosses it back to Jet Lodge, and wide open receiver right there. What about was James, with James Austin, and that's what is so fun about these All-American games. You see all these little tricks and all these fun plays. It's just so much fun to watch these.
Rourke, Lodge, Austin. Ball tossed around twice. And now a chance to go up by 3. This offense coordinated by Tim Smith, a 3-time defending national champion. His team is up in the Gatlinburg All-American Bowl 21-0, and we are about halfway through the first quarter now. .6:35 left to go in the first quarter, as another kickoff here. This one goes to Stars Keontae Jameson, and received a few kickoffs already here for the Stars, as they try to get something going on offense. And so far the combination of Smith and Bell has been good on the coaching front.
Yeah. They're really getting really good pressure up front so far, getting in the quarterback's face. As Micah Taylor is back on the field, as they're going to swap quarterbacks every possession. Both teams will.
Now, we do have live stats being kept, thanks to J.D. Young for that. We'll get to that in a second, as a scramble here from Micah Taylor, the quarterback from Russell. gets brought down in the backfield at the 30-yard line by Valbuena and company, and a loss of 4. So we do have live stats being kept thanks to J.D. Young on that, and I'm curious because the stats are formatted by position. I'm interested to know how many yards of a passing touchdown it was for Jet Lodge on that last play. Something around maybe 25, 30 passing yards, something like that. Maybe less, but I'm interested to see what the...
That was a 58-yard pass.
58-yard pass?
Because the ball was down at the 42-yard line. It was the first play from scrimmage after that. So Jet Lodge has a 58-yard touchdown already.
There's a reason why he was the backup quarterback, as the ball is still loose in the backfield. Valbuena trying to get a hold of it, and finally his teammate in the stripes gets it. And a touchdown for the Stars in Corey Murphy.
As Valbuena tried to pick that one up there, he just wasn't able to.
Almost looked like he purposely gave it to his teammate a little bit there, but
he tried to pick it up, and he got too excited right there as he was trying. As you always want to see a big man touchdown, but just wasn't able to pick it up, and then Murphy picked it up and just walked it in. This Stripes defense Stripes defense has really shown up so far.
The junior from Ezekiel Academy picks it up and takes it into the end zone. Valbuena had been looking for that all day long. And this extra point again, Britt so far 4 for 4. 28-0, 5:20 remaining here in first quarter of this 8-man football All-American Bowl. (28-0) as this kickoff return attempted by Jamison again. He's had the most kickoff returns thus far in this game. Of course, that's a testament to the Stripes going up 28-0 and kicking it off already 4 times.
They're doing that little pop-up kick over his way, and he's done a great job. Jamison really of catching and then getting everything he can, but really watch for maybe a trick play coming from the Stars offense, just trying to get the offense going just a little. Maybe show that they have tricks up their sleeves as well.
So the Stars have yet to score, down 28-0, and we're still in the first quarter as the clock does continue to run. About 4:30 left to go in this first quarter. And so on the 32-yard line, it's pitched in the backfield to Jamison and brought down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss.
And another great job of the Stripes front four doing a great job of getting into the backfield early on plays and not really letting them develop.
Trying to give each of these guys as much playing time as possible as we have a running clock right now, and second down and 13.
As for the defensive line, you have Corey Murphy, you have Alex Valbuena.
Valbuena's been trying to get pressure all day as he's pressured down, and the toss out last second over to Foster under pressure and gets the pass over, and this will not be a first down, a few yards short.
To
That was completed from Sulstrom to Foster.
And that was a good job there of Sulstrom just waiting for, recognizing the pressure coming in his face, and then finding the open man in Foster, because that was a blitz from the corner on the left side, which is the top of your screen. And really, they ran the play to the blitzing corner, and that was what was able to get the receiver open.
Joshua Sulstrom, the senior from Franklin Classical School, he's essentially been at the helm of the Classical offense throughout his senior year, and been a key player for the Classical Knights for a while. And now on a 3rd down and 13, Sulstrom tries to give it over to Jameson, but incomplete.
And in practice, yesterday, both practices, the Stars never went under center. It was always a shotgun or with an empty backfield. But with the troubles so far, they're just trying to get something going.
As they now face a 4th down and 3. This will be the 2nd punt of the game. See if Strutko can pin this one deep. It's Manuel Dang back to receive. As they Strutko punts it away. And Dang is going to let it bounce and bounce backwards, touched at the 33.5-yard marker. They'll place it at the 34. So now this Tim Smith coordinated offense, they're back to work. And first play for the Stripes on this offensive drive. The catch is made, and it's carry upfield. Just weaving through the defense and making it look easy. One man to beat, and potentially a touchdown saving tackle there from it looks like Austin Gay of the, Joshua Butler from the Freedom Cowboys had that touchdown saving tackle, and the reception by, I believe, Bailey
It was Drew King.
Yep, Drew
King did a good job there. He ran it out, and then once he caught it, he spun back to the middle of the field and really split the safeties and only had one man to beat before Party tackled him.
As this ball is carried by Bishop Spackman, trying to find an opening in the outside, being chased down by several men. Not going to matter. Touchdown for the senior from Ezekiel.
And there is going to be a flag, but I think that may be against the Stars. No flag.
So no flag on the play, and Bishop Spackman just makes it look easy gets it from the 25, about a 25-yard rushing touchdown.
And I know I said earlier that he's a big physical running back, but he's also got very good speed. As you saw right there, Spackman was able to get to the outside and really just nobody was able to catch him.
Bishop Spackman, we called his name a lot during the national championship for 8-man football in Panama City Beach, and showing up here in this All-American game. Perfect day so far for David Britt. 35-0, 2:21 left to go in the first. 2:21 left to go in the first. And another kickoff here. And they've kicked it all the time to Jamison as it goes to the 30, not even to the 30-yard line, down to the 25. And now it's a running clock with it being 35-0. So Team Stars trying to prevent a mercy rule from giving them not enough time for this contest. And it certainly is not a question at this point. You know, it's an all-star game. You get the one last game with your players and everything. Even with it being early on, it gives another chance for these seniors to play a game in their high school career. And it's also a testament to the coaching system that Tim Smith has, because there's a reason he's a 3-time national champion, and he's just showing it here as he's right now getting the better of Gleaton and Austin. And the ball lost there in the handoff and waiting for the call.
As I think that was Timothy Howard who came away with that.
Yeah, we got the replay on it, so yep, it's a turnover on downs.
As they tried that little jet sweep action, and as you're going to see right here, Gleaton right there wasn't able to hold on to the snap and really fumbled it, and Stripes fell on it again for a chance to go put up 42 in the first quarter.
And Timothy Howard, the senior from Evangel, has been a star on the defensive side for the Lightning as it's tossed towards the end zone and loose. It's intercepted. It's actually
it was intercepted, but his knee went down when he made that play.
Pass is intercepted.
And that was
Number 24 from the Tennessee Heat.
Josh Hackle with the interception, and what a turn of events.
As that was a great job by Hackle, as that ball was intended for Manny Dang, and Manny Dang tried to adjust and come back to it, but Hackle did a great job of waiting for the ball and high-pointing it and then coming down with it.
Well, the Stars at least force a turnover, but with still a running clock, that's going to be the end of the first quarter. They can't get the snap off. Make that a 35-0 game. The Stripes dominating here in the 2020 Gatlinburg 8-Man All-American Bowl. Welcome to the start of the second quarter for the 2020 Gatlinburg All-American Bowl for 8-Man football. Spencer Thompson, Zachary Lone, Jack Helwig, alongside James Shannon and J.D. Young bringing you the action here as this ball is tossed over to the Stars. Destin Lee from Russell, the senior, gets the catch in. It's down to about the 11-yard line for a second and spotted at the 10-yard line for second and 13.
And that was a good job there by the Stars to use the blitz and the pressure against the Stripes. That little pressure that's been coming up the middle really opened up the screen pass.
And with the 15-minute quarters, of course, with that being a rush play, they're still running. They're running the clock to our knowledge, and now it's 2nd down and 12. This one is going to be carried by Matthew Corley. Gets tripped up for a loss of a yard, and this will bring up 3rd down.
As they fake that jet sweep action again, but this time the Stripes were ready for it and tackled Corley there for a loss. Maybe look for a empty backfield set here, and with those drag routes that we were talking about earlier.
Alan Gleaton, the offensive coordinator for Team Stars, of course, the head coach for the Pack Panthers, with his assistant coaches James Duke and Chris Gay, trying to get something going here on offense for Stars offense, as this will be carried again. Corley gets tripped up at about the line of scrimmage, and that tackle was made by Peyton Patchell, the junior from Ezekiel.
And Patchell did a good job there of bringing them down in open space, but still, that was a great run, great play design to get the 1st down.
And Peyton Patchell in that national championship tried as hard as he could to put his team in winning situations. Testament to how they had a early lead over the Evangel Lightning in Panama City Beach about a month ago. On the 13-yard line, it's a toss over and incomplete pass intended for Grant Gleaton.
And another good job of the the Stripes there. That blitz up the middle really got into the face of the quarterback there, to where he didn't have time to get to find and let the play develop.
Roland Bell's defense holding the Stars so far to 0. So far they've been perfect. Even had a fumble recovery for a touchdown so far in the game, as across the middle, incomplete, almost caught there by Emmanuel Dang, and incomplete.
Dang did a great job there, coming down from his safety position and reading that route, and he almost made a great play on the ball to get the interception, and another drive that would start inside the red zone for the Stripes.
Third and 10. As the Stars air it out on the right side, and almost a reception, incomplete. The coverage there from Spate, and that pass for Goolsby just falls between his hands almost.
As we almost got a heat-to-heat connection there, but that was a great job covering there by Jonah Spate of making a play on the ball and tipping it to where Goolsby wasn't able to come down with the reception.
Number 62, Strutko, back for the punt.
So Stretko's been one of the most active players for the Stars today in the punt game, as Jet Lodge tries to get a return and is stopped by a few yards. That was Brandon Goolsby preventing any return. So now we'll see how the Stripes go down here, if they could get another touchdown in, and about at the 41-yard line.
And really, if you looking at this Stripes roster, when you have Austin Gay, Connor Rourke, Jet Lodge, Manny Dang, Brian Vickers, Drew King, Carson Rourke, Bailey Moeller, everyone on the field at all times has a big play potential, and we've already seen that with them putting up 35 points.
Let's see if the Stripes get another score here. And it's to Alex Valbuena. If he could get past this guy and stay up, he stutter steps a little bit. And inside of the 10-yard line, Valbuena, he's been looking to get some points on the board. And it looks like the Stripes have said, why not?
And what you're going to see here is Valbuena let his man run past him, and he went straight up for the pass. And there was no one in the middle of the field there to guard Valbuena, and Valbuena almost had his touchdown that eluded him in the first quarter.
And Valbuena almost had that fumble recovery for a touchdown there. He gave it to his teammates, so hungry to get some points on the board today. As now the Stripes face a 1st and goal. As this one is handed off. And carry from Nicarius Dowell. Nicarius Dowell only goes about a yard to the maybe a yard or two for a 2nd and goal.
And Jemison is there again. He has really made a name for him. No, he's really showed out today so far. Really, everywhere you look, he's making tackles. He's making great great kick returns. He's really been a star so far for the Stars. Didn't mean for that to happen.
And a fake there as Austin Gay tried to fake it, but manages to push the pile and doesn't get quite back to the line of scrimmage. As that option there doesn't work out for him on a 3rd and goal.
And this is what we saw in the national championship from Ezekiel Academy. That play where they have the 2 wide receivers line up right behind the tight ends. And then they both, one comes into motion in front and one comes behind. And Gay there really has an option of handing it off or pitching it forward for the lateral pass or keeping it. And right there he chose to keep it, and there wasn't anywhere for him to go.
As Austin Gay does that same option, tries to get some positive yards and will have the pile pushed by his offensive lineman, but gain of only a yard for now a 4th down and goal. So the first time that any team has been inside of the 10, and that first case, team Stars, they get a defensive stop on the 3rd down, but now a field goal attempt, it looks like. This will be for 26 yards. Again, James's favorite thing ever in 8-man football.
He was just chanting field goal a few seconds ago.
And David Britt stay perfect on the day. He's 5 for 5 on extra points. And he is 1 for 1 on field goal attempts. 38-0 now here in Sevierville. 7:58, about 7:59 left to go in the first half as this one booted by David Britt. And it's touched there by the Stars and return here for Brody Foster. This time it doesn't actually go to Jemison and gets a return to the 26-yard line. And we'll see if the Stars can get their first score of the game here in the first half. Got a decent amount of time to do it, but a lot of field to march down.
And really, the pressure from the Stripes has really made it to where the Stars haven't had much success on their offensive end because the plays aren't developing. Because the pressure is getting in the face of Sulstrom, in the face of Fox, of Taylor and Corley.
Let's see what the Stars can do. As they hand it up the middle, there's a carry from Cameron Duke of the Pack Panthers. Goes up for a gain of about 3 yards.
And what's really been the problem so far for the Stars is on first down, they aren't getting many positive gains. They're going backwards or it's an incomplete pass. So it's really good to see the Stars run the ball up the middle and be able to get that positive gain. That way they get a little bit of momentum early in this drive.
So on a 2nd and 7, handed off again and tripped up in the backfield. That's a tackle successful from Jesse Smith as the attempted rush to the right side was from Jed Mangrum of Classical.
As that was that sweep again, and it was snuffed out beautifully by the Stripes, which led to the loss of about 7.
Tell you couldn't ask for a better first half from the Stripes. Their offense has shown up. David Britt, their kicker, has been consistent, and their defense has not allowed any true advancement of the ball. I believe maybe 1 or 2 first downs here from the Stars as they toss it and it's incomplete. That pass intended again for Mangrum.
As Mangrum was there, and that was as the Stripes backed off into coverage there. That was really one of the first times tonight that the Stars have had a clean pocket to where he, right there, Sulstrom was able to step into his throw.
Our kickoff was at 10 o'clock, and as it winds down, it looks like it'll be about an hour total for the first half. As this one booted away by Strutko. Emmanuel Dang will receive at about the 50, and he's wrapped up and brought down by Jemison.
And you saw there Jesse Smith from Unity Christian. He had a free lane to the punter, but he stopped and allowed the punt to get off. That's really what you're gonna, like you were saying earlier, that's really what you're gonna see today in the game later in the 11-man game. Really, no pressure on kickers and punters because they don't want injuries.
Let's see if the Stripes get another score here. As this ball to the right side, there's a flag down as Carson Rourke carried the football. And they call this one on the offense, so they'll bring it back.
As that's going to be a holding against the offense. And I think that was on Jared Warren on the outside there.
It'll still be a Team Stripes first down.
But we're looking at just the stats for the Stripes so far in the first half. Austin Gay has 1 pass, in 1 attempt for 40 yards. He has 3 rushing attempts for 47 yards and a touchdown. And then Connor Rourke has 1 pass for 41 yards. And after this play, we'll go into the rushing stats so far.
As this is shovel pass forward, it's a carry by Daniel Viles of Evangel, who gets a considerable gain, made up for some penalty yardage there, and it's it back for a second down. Unless they change the down indicator, it's going to be a second down and 6.
So what they did there with Viles is they had Viles line up right behind the tight end, and at the snap, they rolled out to the left, and then Viles starts running to the right, and then the pitch forward, which is the lateral pass to Viles, while the whole offense is running to the left. It makes the Stars run that way as well, so the whole right side was open there for Viles.
And a handoff immediately met in the backfield as Carter Sutton Corey Murphy brings the runner down in the backfield. And it's nothing but
6-yard line. It'll be a team Stripes 3rd down.
actually it was right on the first time. That was Carter Sutton who brought down the Stripes player in the backfield. And now brings up a 3rd down and 10. Scramble there and a sack as 16 brings down 16. Aaron Hegler, the senior from Palmetto Christian Academy at Greenwood, brings down Connor Rourke.
And that's the first time today that the pressure has gotten home from the Stars. And after those first 5 drives, the Stars defense has done a great job of limiting what the Stripes have done.
So now a 4th down and 20. 4th down and 20 plus. This is going to be the first punt of the game for the Stripes, as this one is punted away by Jet Lodge, and 2 players back to receive for the Stars, and they're just going to let it bounce. This one goes all the way to the 24-yard line as they try to get some natural air behind the ball.
14 there, Spencer. They marked it down inside the he pinned them inside the 20 again.
That's the first time the Stripes have punted this game, maybe one other time, but now with a big hill for the Stars to climb if they want to get any points on the board.
And another area where what's hurting the Stars is they're starting inside their own 20 a whole lot this game. They really haven't got on the plus side of the field because the Stripes defense has done a great job of putting pressure and then a great job in coverage as well. There's been a couple of coverage sacks.
Under 2 minutes left to go in the first half as the Stars try to advance the length of the field to get their first score of the game, as this carry up the middle is from Butler. The Freedom Cowboy senior goes up the middle for a gain of 4. Well, halftime report is coming up, and we'll get you some analysis from everything that's happened this first half and get a word from sponsors for the All-American Bowl, and that's all coming up on the halftime report. About 60 seconds left to go for the end of the first half. On the 18-yard line with a 2nd down and 6. It's a toss under pressure, incomplete. Pass intended there for John Gill.
And he was hit as the ball was thrown there, as Taylor didn't have any time to get rid of the ball. And that's what we've seen a lot today. A lot of pressure on the quarterbacks for Stars.
3rd and 6. As this is to the left side, a carry and collision. As Micah Taylor, the junior from Russell, tried to get the first down, and with the spottage, they will. It's a first down.
And that was another great coverage there from the Stripes defense. But Taylor recognized that, and the no one rushed from the middle there. They all came from the left and the right side, trying to get around the line of initial linemen. So Taylor recognized that, steps up, found there was no one near him, no one within 5-10 yards of him, tucks the ball and runs for that first down.
And the ball loose. Looks like the Stars recovered it, and 30 seconds left as they just fumble it, and brings up a 2nd down and 12.
And that could be the last play of the first half. Unless they call a timeout.
Yeah, pending the timeout. That was from Coach Gleaton. And it's about 17.8 to go in the first half. And for Coach Gleaton, it's been a struggle coordinating this offense and trying to get at least one score or get something going here. But put on your coaching cap for a second, Zachary. What do you think? What do you think they're trying to discuss in this timeout?
Well, like I said in the open, look out for the Stars to do a lot of empty backfield sets with drag routes and curl routes and slants, and maybe a fork route here and there. But they haven't done They haven't done that. They really have gone under center or had someone in the backfield to try and protect the quarterbacks because of the pressure up front that is being generated by the Stripes. So I would potentially look for that drag route. As you look, there's I can't see his number, but he has a 20-yard separation right now. So maybe look for a quick pass right there.
17.8. This is tossed to the left and incomplete. Pass intended there for Kyle Ingram from Russell. And brings it down to 14 seconds.
Russell Christian, Ingram. That'll bring up a Team Stars 3rd down.
As they probably won't punt this away. So the average play, of course, takes 6 seconds. So they have about 3 more plays in them before half. So maybe look for them to take a shot here.
And on a 3rd down, it's a scramble here and forced out of bounds with 8 seconds left on the game clock. Micah Taylor just didn't like what he saw downfield.
And I've said a lot of praises about the pressure up front, but there's been great coverage with Manny Dang, with Jet Lodge in the secondary, and with Hubbard, and with Landon Gay, with Price, and with Josh Hackle. This whole Stars defense, the Stripes defense so far has done a great job. Has done a great job of limiting what the Stripes Stars can do.
And looks like that is just going to bring us to halftime. Well, the Stripes have certainly earned their name in the first half as they have a 38-0 lead over the Stars here in this All-American Bowl for 8-man football. And we're going to transition right into the halftime report. Again, socially distanced press box here. Spencer Thompson and alongside Zachary Lone over there through the window. You can see J.D. Young right now, our statistician for the game. And he's been keeping some live stats for us, so we'll get you some right now. So for the Stars, not much on offense. They've only had about a total of 81 passing yards on two attempts and completions. And for the Stripes, they haven't had a lot of passing yards, but it's a testament to their quarterbacks are heavy on the rushing side. A combined 81 passing yards and only only about that total of 5 passing attempts. And rushing so far for the quarterbacks, they've gotten 1 each for combined rushing for the QBs at about over 70 yards. And it's so far the story of the game is, Zachary, it's been more so the passing has been a huge factor, but for the Stripes, their quarterbacks rushing have really been what they've been able to get scores off of.
And yes, and like we saw in the national championship tournaments down in Florida, Austin Gay is a dual threat quarterback. So he has been able to recognize where the holes are. And Rourke has also done a great job, as he has 1 carry for 22 yards, and that's how he's got his touchdown. Was he stepped in the pocket, nobody was there, and then pulled it in down and just ran to the outside and just beat people with his speed. And another thing is Spackman. Spackman has 2 carries for 23 yards and a touchdown, and Aquarius Dowdle has 2 carries for 2 yards, but he's also got a touchdown as well. So they are doing a great job of running the ball on the Stars. But the Stars secondary has done a great job of containing the Stripes, but because they are so focused on the pass game, the rushing lanes right now are wide open for the Stripes.
Stars right now, no points on the board. They've been trying to get some stuff going, but only 6 receiving yards for their receivers, and out of about a total of 12 passing attempts. They combined only have 22 passing yards, and it's been tough for the Stars. But what do you, as Coach Austin and Coach Gleaton, what do you tell your guys going into the second half?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, this is an all-star game. This isn't meant to have a winner and a loser. These are the best of the best, and they're just out here having fun. That's what Coach Austin and Coach Gleaton are probably telling the guys, say, guys, look, the score may be 38-0, but this is all about y'all this weekend. This isn't about winning a game. There isn't a big trophy involved. This isn't a tournament of any kind. So just go out there and have fun this second half. Don't worry about the score. And
hopefully none of the players are worrying about the score right now with how lopsided it is. 38-0, the Tim Smith and Roland Bell led Stripes are leading over the Coach Gleaton and Coach Austin Stars. Halftime now. You see the clock on there, about 6.5 minutes until we get back. We're going to send you to hear a word from our sponsors.
Hey guys, where do you want to eat?
Obviously, a favorite place in Pigeon Forge.
Steak and Shake! Ah!
Woo! Woo!
Steak and Shake!
Woo! All right.
Made it, guys.
Thank you for choosing Steak and Shake. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
We want one of everything! Ah!
It'll take just a micro minute for that.
Steak and Shake is worth the wait. Oh, that was so good.
Man, I'm stuffed.
Wow. This is amazing.
Oh, I'm so full. I can't even eat another French fry.
Welcome to coverage of the second half of the 2020 8-man football Gatlinburg All-American Bowl. This one occurring in Sevierville at Hardin Robertson Field. It was originally going to be at the Rocky Top Sports Complex, but ensure proper social distancing and give more space for everybody, they moved it here to Hardin Robertson Field, just about 20 minutes away from downtown Gatlinburg. Spencer Thompson, Zachary Lone, Jack Helwig bring the action. Our statistician, J.D. Young, and PA announcer in the stadium, and producer quite literally upstairs here, James Shannon, as this kickoff return from the Stars by Josh Hackle gets to about the 34 hard line. And we've been informed the running clock will not occur until fourth quarter. Give the players enough time to have everybody play a decent amount of time here, especially since this is an all-star game format. So fourth quarter, there will be a running clock, and we'll go from there. So see if the Stars can get their first touchdown of the game or first points on the board. Waiting for the opportunity to have that as they start out from their own 33. As this one tossed to the left, and the catch is made by Jemison, and he gets to the 40-yard line as he's stopped by several defenders, several Stripes defenders, preventing a first down.
And there it is again. They recognize the pressures coming from the right side, the top of your screen, and so they put out Jemison going out to the wide, out into the flat, and they throw it out there, and Jemison catches it, and he's in the open field, and nobody can catch up to him for another 6-7 yards. Now they're in 2nd and 4, and they're 2nd and 3, and the whole playbook's opened up.
So now on a 2nd down and 13, excuse me, 2nd down and 3, subtract 10 yards from that, and see what the Stars can do. Scrambling in the pocket is Josh Sulstrom, but several defensive players for the Stripes don't let him get anywhere.
And right there, what the Stripes did is they contained him. They didn't bring a rush. They contained him where they didn't allow him to get to the outside, and there's 2-3 linebackers with their eyes on him. That way, if he went to try and scramble like he did, they came up and they made the play. And again, right there, Sulstrom doesn't go down, but since this is an all-star game and they don't want injuries, they went ahead and blew the whistle.
See that all the time in various all-star games where it's limited to almost no contact with anybody just to prevent any injuries. As scramble by Sulstrom again. He manages to stiff arm his defender there and avoid a tackle. Still on his feet, Joshua Sulstrom unable to get to the first down marker, and that's because of the defense of, I believe, Emmanuel Dang. Yep, Emmanuel Dang preventing Sulstrom from getting the first down.
What a play there by Sulstrom. Stiff arming one guy, run to the outside, stiff arming one guy, gets away from the other, comes back to the middle of the field, shakes off the next defender, and then it took Manny Dang coming in from the secondary to make a tackle, to bring up a great tackle, a great open field tackle to bring up the 4th and 2. But he was first contacted about 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So just for him to get anything positive there was a great individual effort.
2 yards shy of the first down. So far, the Stars in this game maybe had one conversion for a first down. Maybe two, as that toss. And there's another one on for him, and the catch made there by Kareem Houston.
That was a great job of Houston of adjusting to the ball, because that ball by Sulstrom was behind him, and Hudson realized that and stopped and made a great catch.
The junior from the Greenville Hurricanes showing up here, I believe from North Carolina. And
As is actually pronounced Hussein.
Hussein from the Greenville Hurricanes, the junior, showing up here in this All-American game and gets a good catch there for a first down. As the Stars try to continue to march down the field on their own 44-yard line with a new set of downs. Sulstrom, he's got plenty of time, and he's finally brought down in the backfield. That's Jet Lodge getting the sack.
So right there, great coverage in the secondary there by not allowing anyone to get open. So that's what we mean by coverage sacks, where Sulstrom held onto the ball 4, 5, 6 seconds and wasn't able to find anyone down the field because of the coverage in the secondary, and then a sack ended up occurring because of that. But what we've seen so far in the second half is a great job by the offensive line of the Stars, really negating that pressure so far that we saw in the first half.
Second and 15 after the sack. As Sulstrom is going to be pressured and brought down again. He tossed the ball out, and still no whistle. Finally whistled dead with an incomplete pass. Managed to get it off in time.
And that's the announcer's jig that they talks about, right? He hasn't have any pressure the whole second half, and then say something about the pressure, and then he has nowhere to go, and the pocket collapsed on him really quick. But that's the pressure we saw in the first half from the defensive line of the Stripes, which really caused all sorts of problems for the Stars quarterbacks.
Stars have not been able to get that much done in the passing game as they face now a 3rd and 15. And this is loose in the backfield and recovered by Grant Gleaton.
As that was that jet sweep again. And every time they've ran that, they really haven't got anything out of it. They've actually lost more yards than they've actually gained from that play. So the outside defenders for the Stripes have done a great job. For instance, I always run towards Jet Lodge, and Jet Lodge does a good job of reading the play and coming in and stopping it for a loss.
We'll see Strutko punted away again. And this time in the backfield, it's Curious Dowdle to receive, but they'll just let this bounce down to the 31-yard line. We've seen a few punt returns, but they haven't gone past 10 yards so far in this game. And about 9:13 left. The Stripes will start out on their own 30-yard line. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, the 8-Man Extreme. You can get notified going into next season on any of the 8-Man football action. We do weekly broadcasts for 8-Man football, primarily in the Tennessee State Independent Athletic Association. We also cover several independent teams. Covered the Tennessee School for the Deaf Vikings in 2019 and prior. Of course, 2020, they opted to cancel their season. They opted to cancel their season due to the coronavirus concerns. As the ball is loose and still loose, looks like the Stars recovered. That recovery there, I believe, Clay Humans, the junior from the Pack Panthers. And they will rule this. They will rule this that the Stripes recovered it.
And that's really the first miscommunication that we've seen from the Stripes offense so far. But ever since that first quarter where the Stripes scored 35 points, they've only scored 3 since. So the Stars defense has stepped up and really made it hard on the Stripes offense.
Second down and 13. As this one tossed to the left side, and it's intercepted. Interception by Eli Cornett of Franklin Classical School, and we do have a player down on the field for the Stars. And it looks like that's Charles Party, the sophomore from the Pack Panthers, who is down at the 45.
And on that, the Stars ran press coverage So the ball was thrown too late, and it allowed as you're gonna see.
We don't have the replay.
Oh, we don't have the
on that.
replay. But as you're gonna see, no, as what happened was Josh Hackle came over and made that interception because he waited so long. The eyes of the quarterback there, Hackle came over, read the eyes, and high pointed the ball and made the interception. The ball has to come out as soon as he gets past that initial defender, but he waits till he's about 5-10 yards down the field, and Hackle realized where the ball was going, goes over and makes a great play.
So the good sign for the Stars, Charles Pardee did get up on his own feet. He was hobbling a little bit, but went back over to the sideline. The training staff will look at him. And interception there for the Stars. We'll see if they can capitalize on this defensive turnover they forced. It's now at the 44-yard line. Sulstrom no longer under center, and that pass is completed. That was the connection between Goolsby and Corley. Corley to Goolsby on that. The Tennessee Heat combo that made them pretty successful in their road to being uncontested state champions this season.
And what you saw there from Corley was before the snap, he recognized the coverage and what coverage the Stripes were in. So Corley runs over to Goolsby, changes Goolsby's route to a slant there, and the great connection and great timing was what led to the completion there. And maybe watch for Goolsby to run a streak here because of the press coverage from the Stripes.
Got some options. Goolsby airs it out, and the catch is made inside the 10-yard line. Eli Cornett with the reception, and the Stars are now firing on all cylinders.
And I was wrong there. Goolsby didn't run the streak, but he ran that drag route that we saw in practice. And another thing we saw in practice was that out route that you just saw from Cornett. That drag route really draws the defense in, and it leaves that the out route wide open.
And now a first and goal for the Stars here. Again, they got that interception about the 45-yard line earlier, trying to capitalize to get their first score of the game, and incomplete. Close there as the pass was intended for Goolsby.
And Goolsby got hit. No, not Goolsby. Corley got hit right when he threw it, which caused the pass to be a little underthrown to Goolsby's side. But in the second half so far, they have had a more of an offensive identity than they did in the first half, and that has shown. The defense has shown up to play so far since that first quarter, and this offense is starting to show up in the second half.
Second and goal. With motion here, they'll hand it off up the middle, and that attempted carry by Destin Lay, the senior from Russell, gets stopped by that defensive line.
As that here they go. This is really what in the second half, when they've had their best offense, it has come from an empty backfield, with that drag route from Goolsby. So maybe right here on third down, look for that drag route, or potentially maybe a post from Goolsby, which opens up the whole right side of the field for the Stars offense. So maybe look for Cornett to run a slant.
Third and goal. They toss to the corner of the end zone and tipped at the last second. That was a pass intended. It was great coverage there by, looks like it was Jonas Spate. Yep, Jonas Spate, the junior from Palmetto Christian Academy at Greenwood, prevented the touchdown catch for Goolsby.
And we saw a lot of that in the regular season, where when that big play is needed, Corley looks for Goolsby, and right there, he recognized the height advantage that Goolsby had, and he just threw it to Goolsby, and Goolsby just wasn't able to come down with the catch.
And Neil McClure is going to attempt to get the first score of the game as this one goes low and to the right. No good. It's attempted there by Neil McClure as we lose video footage there, and with 5:30 left to go in the third quarter, still a shutout score for Stripes. .5:30 left to go in the third. As the ball is loose and the Stripes recover it back, that was Carson Rourke got it back and a loss of 2 yards.
And that was another jet sweep action, as we've seen the Stars do a lot, which led to that first one of those turnovers for the Stars was that jet sweep action where the center snaps it directly to the man in motion. And both times that it's been run this game, it has resulted in a fumble.
It's a second down, a scramble here, and Carey with positive yards, tiptoeing the sideline, ruled that he stepped out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Carey there by Rourke.
And Rourke does a good job of escaping that pressure and then getting to the sideline, but he just ran out of room right there as I think his heel stepped out of bounds while he tried to make that last cut. But if he makes that last cut and stays in bounds, he really only had one more man to beat before another long touchdown.
Got a few yards gain there, but it's a 3rd and 7 as he airs it out to the left, and a diving catch made with the connection to his brother Carson. And the Rourke brothers move the chains for a first down.
And right there, as you saw Connor Rourke be able to step up and with that clean pocket and be able to fire a laser to his brother there. So really what's been working so far in the second half for the Stars is bringing that pressure and forcing the quarterbacks to make a quick decision. And right there wasn't any pressure, and Rourke was able to step back in the pocket.
As Rourke scrambles, there is a flag down as Rourke staying on his feet at the 50-yard line, gets to the 49, and so a flag on the play as this one is going to be brought back.
It's in the area of holding.
And, yep, they are going to bring this back. So it'll still be a first down, but this will be back at the 21-yard line for the Stripes.
Finley will move the ball to the 21-yard line. It'll remain a Team Stripes first down.
As holding is a spot foul, so that's why Never mind. The spot. It is a spot. It is a 10 yards from the spot, but it happened at the line of scrimmage.
This one is pitched to Emmanuel Dang, and Emmanuel Dang breaking free. The senior who had not been at the All-American games in the past stays in bounds and goes all the way for a touchdown.
What a stiff arm on the sideline there that he gave to Cornette. As you're going to see right here, his speed to the outside, he gets to the outside, and then this stiff arm right here really is what set him free, and he was able just to jog into the end zone.
As mentioned, he had not been at the All-American games in the past due to basketball. Emmanuel Dang committed this year in his senior year to go, and He has made his mark in Gatlinburg, certainly. Three minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And David Britt, the senior, perfect on the kicking game so far. 45-0, the Stripes lead the Stars. .330 left to go in the third quarter. As it's kicked off, and Jameson will get the ball at the 11. And he'll carry this, tries to find an opening, and gets down to about the 33-yard line. So we'll see if the Stars can get anything going with a little bit better field advantage.
And that last drive, they were able to move the ball down the field, but they weren't able to they weren't able to make that field goal. So that really ruined their momentum, as they had all the momentum up until that point, and then they get the holding call and makes it 1st and 20, and you think, oh well, maybe they can get something. Then Emmanuel Dang gets to the outside and makes that big stiff arm. So they ran out of all their momentum.
Here's the Stars offense tossed across the middle, and a reception made by Kareem, and gets across midfield with that reception. As the junior from the Greenville Hurricanes gets the Stars into Stripes territory.
And Hussein there ran that little slant route and was able to get in between the two linebackers there, which led to that big gain. And now you're starting to see this Stars offense settle back into the game and be able to move the ball up and down the field with ease.
Now across midfield, there's a handoff to Cameron Duke. The junior from the Pack Panthers gets up the middle and gets to about the 44-yard line for a gain of 3 yards.
That'll bring up a Team Stars, second down.
The Stars so far, Cameron Duke in total. Prior to that play, he's only had 1 carry for 2 yards, so make it 5 yards for Duke so far in the game. And second down as it's tossed to the right and through the arms of Isaac Alcock, the senior from Lighthouse Homeschool. Could have had an interception there, but prevented the pass from being completed.
And right there, you can't throw that bullet pass because Hussein had him beat to the outside, so he ran another one of those out routes. But because the quarterback was on the left hash marks, and he had to throw it all the way across the field, so his only option was to throw it into the open space and pick a spot and throw it there instead of throwing that bullet pass. Because if you throw that bullet pass, it's easy for that cornerback to step in and make that play.
So the Stars face a third down. As Chet Lodge gets the quarterback, he tosses it last second with the receiver in the area in Cameron Duke. And the pressure there from Jet Lodge forces a 4th down.
That'll bring up a Team Stars.
And there's that pressure again, getting to the quarterback from the Stripes. The Stripes defensive front, as we've said multiple times throughout this game, has done a great job of pressuring the quarterback and not letting the plays develop downfield. That's what they've been missing on those this second half was the pressure at the quarterback. Because when they get pressures, they really force the Stars offense to really go get out of rhythm.
So now a 4th down. As it's tossed across the middle and overthrown, the target intended was Jed Mangrum. And with that incomplete pass, it's a turnover on downs. The Stripes will take over.
And right there, what Sulstrom was looking for was for Mangrum to keep running a streak, and Mangrum broke off of that streak route, which is why the pass looked so far out of reach for Mangrum. So those little miscommunications really happen in these All-Star games, and you see them a lot. But really, he had Mangrum had a step on his defender there, so that was a great play call. He just wasn't able to connect.
And with this play on offense, it's a carry by Brian Vickers, the senior from Claremore Christian School. It's a carry to the left, and
I think that's coming back for a hold.
Yep, penalty on the offense, so they'll bring it back for a 1st and 20.
And that was Spackman there on the with the hold.
Not often you see Bishop Spackman or any of the Ezekiel players, for that matter, penalized. As the final 60 seconds of the 3rd quarter wind down, and it will be a running clock in the 4th quarter. As the Stripes lead at 45-0 and are looking to punch another one in, as this one is aired out to Jet Lodge. What a catch in coverage! There are flags, but Jet Lodge is in the end zone for the time being.
This may be coming back for an offensive pass interference.
That's the question. What's the penalty? Pass interference on the offense. Yep. So they bring it back. Let's look. We got the catch there, and a chance for a touchdown negated.
So this it was thrown. I don't.
That's close.
Lodge did put his hands on the cornerback there, but it looks like that would I can see why the flag was thrown. It did look, when we were watching it live, it did look like there was a push from Lodge. But looking at the replay, I don't really know if there was that push. But now you're looking at a 1st and...
This is about a 1st and 30.
Third of the field.
And the final seconds winding down. This will be the final play of the 3rd quarter, and it's a rush by Bishop Spackman trying to get to the outside and gets forced out of bounds at about the 40-yard line, and that's going to take us to the final 15 minutes of the Gatlinburg All-American Bowl for 8-man football. 45-0, the Stripes leading in comfortable fashion.
Yes,
15 minutes remain in this All-American Bowl as this is aired out to Jet Lodge on the left side, and he gets the – almost looked like the catch was there, but the ball popped out incomplete.
As that was great coverage there from the Stars, but Austin Gay almost had that through a dot to Jet Lodge, but Lodge wasn't. What the coverage was just too good there.
As the clock winds down for the Mercy Rule with a 45-0 lead for Team Stripes as they possess the ball, trying to possibly get another score in here. But they got a long distance to go from their own 41-yard line. It's a fake handoff. Austin Gay going to the left side. The senior quarterback from Ezekiel. There is several flags down, and he gets forced out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. And
I think that's going to come back for holding. Yes,
yep,
it is.
Holding on the offense.
So they ran that fake jet sweep, and Gay held on to it and was able to get to the outside. So again, what they did is they had the jet sweep option coming across, and since they've ran it multiple times this game, the Stars defense started leaning towards that way and started committing to the receiver there. But Gay held it and then ran to the left outside the tackle and was able to get all that yardage, but it does come back because of the hold.
Austin Gay looks like he's clenching close to his left arm and is winding his arm. So at least stays in. It looked like he may have had a potential injury there, but 13 minutes and winding down. Now a third down and more than 10. As Gay looking for the option, and pass is incomplete. Could have been intercepted there by Clay Humans. And brings up third down.
And that's another one of those plays where the throw is supposed to be thrown to a spot instead of that bullet pass from Gay, because that cornerback has an inside cut to that. So the cornerback may easily had a play to break that ball to break the pass up. But if he throws it to a spot, then his receiver can run under it and then potentially make a cut and then be open down the field.
It actually was a third down on that last one. So now fourth down as this one is punted away, and it's going to bounce all the way to the 24-yard, maybe the 23-yard line. And see if the Stars can get a score as about 12 minutes left to go in regulation. Well, again, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel with 8-Man Extreme. We cover 8-man football in Tennessee State Independent Athletic Association. We cover independent teams. Mentioned earlier, the Tennessee School for the Deaf Vikings opted to cancel all of their sports for the 2020 to 2021 school year due to coronavirus, but we'll be sure to cover them in 2021, assuming they come back for sports, and cover other teams around the region, including the Tennessee Heat, who several players are here today, and cover the national championship. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you get notified when we go live. As scramble and a sack in the backfield as Micah Taylor is brought down by Daniel Viles from Evangel.
Viles ran untouched through the middle of that defensive line. The offensive line.
Something he's very familiar with doing, as he's managed to. I believe he was one of the league leaders in sacks for the Alabama 8-man football scene. At least up there with several of his Evangel counterparts. And the Stripes defense so far have had at least one sack on the day, and continue to be in good fashion. Here's Gary in the backfield, and it'll be a loss for several yards as the ball pops out after forward progress.
And then that's that sweep action again. That play hasn't really worked at all today, but they keep trying to go to it.
Ball spotted at the 9. That'll bring up a Team Stars third
As
down.
now we have another 3rd and 24.
So now a third down and long. This will be at the this will start at this play from the 9-yard line of Stars' own territory as they try to get a conversion here.
Let's see if they open up the playbook here.
As it's a low snap, any chance of them opening up the playbook unsuccessful as sack in the backfield. That one credited to the Stars' Peyton Patchell.
And right there, that play really was really destined to not go nowhere. From the low snap, as soon as Micah Taylor picked the ball up, the whole pocket collapsed on him, and he couldn't get to the outside. He tried to step up into the pocket, but there really was nowhere for him to go.
So the Stars will punt it away. It's just been the story of the game, unfortunately, for Stars, as this one goes high up and bounces all the way to the 35-yard line.
Punt by Strutco is down to the
And the
35-yard line.
Stripes, great field advantage, chance to get another score in for one of these seniors. Chance for big defensive stop to be made by Stars.
And really, what we've seen today from the Stripes is where Coach Hunter Wilson and Coach Tim Smith and Coach Jordan really have opened up that offensive playbook to where you're seeing from Jet Lodge throwing a touchdown pass to a pass to Valbuena, who he should have almost had 2 touchdowns, as he tried to get that fumble again in the first quarter, but just wasn't able to pick it up. So maybe look for Valbuena again, potentially.
Had that reception that brought them to a 1st and goal as well. If he had an extra step on his opponent, could have easily been in. As this is carried to the right side by Rourke, and Rourke loses the football. It's a recovery by the Stars, and Josh Hackle from the Tennessee Heat. That's a name we've called all day on the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Right there, what that was a read option play, which left Rourke wide open. But watch this hit. Rourke wasn't expecting the hit, and it really led to him exposing the ball. So when he got hit at the legs, it popped out.
Yeah, it just kind of popped out there. And Rourke. Rourke got the
and that was a huge stop for the Stars.
Yep.
Get them some offensive momentum. Maybe put them on the board. Maybe try and score a touchdown before this one's over.
As loose in the backfield and safety. Or touchdown with a fumble recovery, actually. We'll have to look at the replay and see. It was ruled spotted at the 2-inch line, actually. It looked like it was. So initially there was a touchdown ruling, and then they discussed it. So this is at the inch line. So it looks like we have everything on the play. So this was loose. So the ruling on the field is that it's down at the 2-inch.
Maybe they're saying Jemison was in at the 2-inch line when he picked it up and was forced back into the end zone.
Well, 2nd and 15 as the Stripes want to force a safety, and it's loose in the backfield, and it is. There you go, safety.
That's a safety for Team Stripes.
really that play had no chance of going anywhere.
Team Stripes 47.
Being at the
Team
2-inch
Stars
line,
0.
they really had a very few options on that play call, and which led to the eventual safety. They dodged the first bullet, but
couldn't dodge all of them. And with that, it's now 47-0 as the Stripes will get it back with 5:40 left to go.
it's going to be interesting to see if they bring out Preston Graham for the Stripes, because I might be mistaken, but I don't know if Graham's taken a snap so far.
Yeah, I don't think we've called his name throughout
Well,
this
no,
game.
he has. He has 2 pass attempts for 41 yards. He is 1 of 2 for 41 yards.
So he's been over there a few times.
Yeah.
See if he gets a little more playing time as we go to the final 5 minutes of regulation. Make sure you stay tuned for the Gatlinburg 11-man All-American Bowl that kickoff is set for 2 p.m. as Jet Lodge picks us up at the 35 and has to backtrack. So from there, it'll be positive yardage. He's the 40, trying to get past the Stars, and he's initially contacted by Joshua Butler, a opponent that he has faced off against several times in his career as the Freedom Cowboys, the Evangel Lightning, play several times throughout the season. Or they played twice this year, both times in Alabaster, Alabama. And now at the 45-yard line, the Stripes just trying to wrap it up here and cause a shutout here in the this All-Star formatted game.
And some of these 8-man players will be on the field for the 11-man game.
Yep, you got Jet Lodge who's going in as carry up the middle. This is a rush by Corey Murphy.
And the ball came out.
The ball came out and it's turned over. That was a recovery by Sulstrom.
As they did that direct snap to was that Murphy? Was that what you said?
So the carry was by Corey Murphy from Ezekiel, and then the ball came loose as he was going down, and then recovered by Sulstrom.
So right there, when they direct snapped it to Murphy, Murphy didn't protect the ball when he was coming down, which led to it the ball being exposed and popping out. And Sulstrom, with recognizing the ball's on the ground, dove on top of it before Murphy could get back to it. So maybe the Stars can score a touchdown before this game's over, or potentially a field goal.
They start on their own 40. They got to go 60 yards to get it done. As Corley tosses it to the right side and intended for Gleaton, goes incomplete.
And Gleaton right there got locked up with his defender, so he wasn't able to locate the ball until it was over his head. So he wasn't able to make a big play on the ball, which led to the incompletion. Corley threw that one where that was supposed to be, but just because of the 2 men being locked, engaged with each other, led to the incomplete pass.
Special thanks to all 200 plus of you watching this 8-man football Gatlinburg All-American Bowl. Be sure to stay tuned for the 11-man bowl, which occurs at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so in about 3 hours from now, as the pass is incomplete, intended for Destin Lay, incomplete, and second down.
As right there, the pressure right in the face of, was that Isaiah Zorn? That was the pressure? I'm pretty sure, yeah, I think that was Isaiah Zorn with the pressure. Didn't allow Corley to really step into that pass, which is what forced the pass to come up a little short.
And things just wrapping up here in Gatlinburg. All these 8-man players, of course, for these seniors, it's the last game of their high school career. For the juniors, they have one more year to look forward to as it's tossed across the middle and incomplete, intended for Eli Cornett. And That brings up a 4th down and 10 on the 40-yard line. But although it was lopsided, each of the players got one more game in their high school careers. They got one more opportunity to put on a high school football uniform and send off their career with a prestigious honor and being selected here to Gatlinburg. And regardless of the score, the majority of them would say they had a whole bunch of fun with their experience this weekend. And the final 60 seconds winding down here in Sevierville. And it's incomplete. It's intended there for Goolsby. And it's a turnover on downs as the clock will wind down here.
That's probably the last play of the game. So what what Cooley was looking for was Goolsby to continue on that streak route, but Goolsby stopped and ran a comeback route, and that's where the miscommunication happened, and that would be the last play of the game.
Yep, there looks like they're going to call it. So Tim Smith and Roland Bell lead their team to victory over Alan Gleaton and Isaiah Austin. 47-0 final score here from the Mountain, from the Smokies.
Stay tuned for the announcement.
47-0. And that is going to do it here for the 8-man game. They are going to announce the MVPs for the game. They'll announce those later on. We'll have that announced on our social media as well, but that's going to do it here from the Smoky Mountains. 47-0 your final score. Tim Smith and Roland Bell get the job done here. Stay tuned for the 11-man Gatlinburg All-American Bowl set to occur in 2 hours kickoff time for that contest. On behalf of Zachary Lone, Jack Helwig, our statistician J.D. Young, and producer upstairs James Shannon, I'm Spencer Thompson. We'll see you guys for the 11-man game in about 2 hours' time here on 8-Man Extreme's YouTube channel.